Welcome to my hotel room. This is my beauty hack. You just tie a t-shirt onto your head, and then when you wake up, you can take it off, and you're good to go. Anyways, I want to talk about betrayal. And you might be wondering why. And the answer is because I feel like I'm supposed to. I believe in words of significance. You know, one of the ways that spirit can communicate to you is through words of significance, where, you know, you'll hear a word phrase from something outside of you, the TV, your best friend, your neighbor, whoever, whatever, right? And it's like a phrase that's just like, it's significant to you. And like, maybe you replay it in your head. Maybe you think about it every now and again, right? You're meant to look at those things. What does it mean to you? Or in this case, when a word phrase makes you fearful. And this experience for me, you know, began when I had a spiritual teacher say, you know, you can keep your head in the sand, but a betrayal's coming. And I was like, oh, I was like scared, right? And I replayed that in my head. And then a couple days later, my uncle posted this thing on social media that was like, a betrayal's coming. And again, I'm like, what? You know? So for the past little while, I've been thinking about what is betrayal. And I've come to the conclusion that the only person in this world that can betray you is you. I am the only person that can betray me. Okay. And you're like, what? Hear me out, okay? I went through this experience where I felt like I was betrayed. I, was lied to. I was gaslit. Unkind words and actions were flung at me. And I left the situation feeling betrayed. And I was angry. I was resentful. I had a desire for retribution. None of those things are good, okay? And it's taken me a long time to process this. Like, working through these things does not happen overnight. So if you find yourself there, give it time. Anyways, but it was in this experience that I had all of these revelations, and it's kind of like, those are the things that have helped me get rid of the nasty, okay? And then, here we go. To deal with retribution, I've realized that, like, what we put out into the universe reverberates back to us. Okay, the universe holds you accountable for your bullshit. And I can never know, like, the reasons behind why people do things. I don't know their intent. I don't know their hurt, the reasons why they're acting, right? And that's none of my business, 100%. Okay? And the universe knows and will hold people accountable to their actions, right? And that's none of my business. The only person that I am responsible for is me, right? And in this situation, it's the anger and the resentment that I carry, okay? So that's helped with the retribution bit of, like, wanting people to be like, to get theirs. Like, they will, but that's none of my business. So the betrayal comes when you go through a situation like that and you carry the nasty with you. That's your betrayal. That's your karma. That's what you carry with you. Okay, and that's your responsibility. It's my responsibility to deal with. Okay, and then what's helped me to release a lot of this is the understanding that, like, pain perpetuates pain. That some of the nastiest shit in the world comes from people who are just hurt and trying to protect the wounded pieces of themselves, right? I've developed this understanding that, like, we're all just squishy little snuggy babies with pure joy, essence, and love within us that, experience the world and get hurt, right? But we're still that squishy, pure essence, joy, love energy, right? And in the way that I could never be, like, pissed off at a squishy pure essence baby, I really can't about the adults either, right? That's not to say that we allow people to treat us like shit, but you can hold compassion, right? Because the people who hurt are hurt themselves. And that's helped me a lot to release the bullshit from myself, right? So again, right? No one owes you anything. You know, you are only accountable to yourself. And you betray yourself when you carry nasty things with you after these types of events, right? And if you feel like, perhaps you've done wrong in a situation, it's never too late to just apologize or to make it right or allow the thing to make you a better person. Like if you fucked up, part of how you release your own karma is to allow that to teach you to make you better in the future, right? Or you can shove it away and the universe will hold you accountable for it eventually. Whatever. All right, so yeah, in that way I learned that, we only betray ourselves when we carry that nasty shit with us, and it's only our responsibility. My shit is only my stuff. Sorry, try not to curse. And in this experience, I also learned of another form of betrayal, again, a self-betrayal. And this type of betrayal happens when we have pieces of ourselves, pieces of our soul, our essence that, wish to live. But we will take that and shove it deep down inside and hide it, right? For other people or for society, I think that I've had it explained to me that like some of the deepest forms of sadness or depression or whatever come from when we have pieces of our soul, our essence that wish to live, and we cram it away and hide it for other people. That is another form of betrayal of self, okay? And then in this scenario that I'm talking about, I had, intuitive knowing about a thing, and it was potent, it was true to me. I was like, there's some funny business going on, and I had an incredible force from outside of myself trying to convince me that there was no funny business. And there for a while, I tried to shove it away and ignore it, right? But in doing so, I was denying a piece of me that was just so potent and so true in ways that I can't explain. And that felt like the most disgusting thing to me. Like it was like I could never fully be myself. And choosing to stand by my intuition was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But it was an incredible lesson in like, you need to let that shit live. If you know there's funny business going on, trust your gut. Okay? And, that's particular to my experience, but I think that, there's other ways that we suppress our essence. Perhaps, people outside of yourself tell you you're a piece of shit. Which, I'm a firm believer that, like, we have both of those. Like, we are all pieces of shit, but we are also just the pure essence, joy, snuggy baby, right? But it's when we listen to other people who tell us that shit, right? And we shove away our beautiful, snuggy baby, and we, allow, other people's whatever to deny us opportunity when we go, oh, I can't do that thing because I'm a piece of shit, right? We're shoving away our snuggy, powerful, lovey baby, right? That, let that shit live. Don't listen to any of the other people. Or perhaps it could be more of a tangible reality thing. Like, maybe you hate your job and that like deep down, a more true expression of your essence would be to do something different, right? To do the thing, whatever it is for you, right? But you listen to society say, oh, you need to have this kind of fancy truck and the best phone, and right, you shove away that desire to do the different thing and you stay in your job, right? You suppress what is your true essence for what other people or society tells you to do, that brings sadness. That'll bring one of the more potent, sadnesses in life. Depression, perhaps, So, that is another form of betrayal of self. So, to sum it all up, never for any reason do we suppress our own essence for other people. Let that shit breathe, let it live. Trust your gut, follow your heart. And that's all I wanted to say today. I'm gonna eat my food. Bye now.